Good evening, everybody. This is the Reseller Six Pack. Let's see, what are we on? 18, right?
Wow.
Man, 18 of these things? Holy cow. So let's see, we got one, two. We actually have a true six pack tonight.
We do.
So, whoopsie, party foul. Anyway, tonight we'll be, we decided to talk about some of the things that we find. We call them bolos, of course, be on the lookout. Each of us have picked out a few things that either is our bread and butter items or something that's especially good to search after, in so that if you see the name or something like that, it triggers you to think about it or look it up. So first, I think we'll start out with finding out what everybody's drinking. John, what do you got going today?
How's it going, guys? I'm John, the Cincinnati picker. As you can see from my shirt, I'm still in baseball season. Baseball season's not over. Rocking the MLB shirt tonight. And I am drinking New Glarus Moon Man. Andy's not here tonight, but he's the one that told me about this. You can only get this in Wisconsin, and a buddy of mine brought this back, but it's delicious.
Wow.
Very nice. What about you, Lonnie?
Hey, guys. I'm Lonnie, and I go by the moniker of Garage Flips on YouTube. Tonight, I am drinking Abita Pecan Ale.
Oh my gosh, we saw that at the grocery store today.
Yeah, I saw it too when we were at Walmart, and I was like, shit, I got to pick that up. And you know what? It's pretty good. It's 5.2%, and I'm digging it so far.
Awesome. I'm going to have to get some.
Looks pretty tasty.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, you're up, Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad. I'm the Golden Finger Picker, and I am drinking coffee with a chaser of Monster.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, guys.
Are you planning on sleeping tonight?
Yeah.
Dude, we have had Hattie.
I mean, what is it? It's like 8 o'clock there, 7 o'clock? Man.
We've had Hattie
Bound
for
in that
3 days
caffeine.
this week.
Hey,
Or 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
guys,
We love her,
gotta-
but she's a handful, and me and Kim are pooped. We're wore out.
Hey, I want to read Jim Cooncat's comment in the chat here. I'm Jim Como, and I'm drinking delicious wine. I know it's delicious because it says so on the side of the box.
Nice. What are you doing, Shane?
So I'm Shane, the Rise and Grind Picker, and I'm drinking Rogue Dead Guy Ale. I just picked it up. It's my first time having it tonight.
Oh,
it's pretty
wow.
good. It's about 8% alcohol.
Goodness.
How about you, Tonya?
Hey guys, I am Tonya, Thrifty Treasures, and I am drinking some Moscato out of a 99-cent wine glass I found at Goodwill, and it says born and raised in Texas. And then let's see, that's the other side. Isn't it cute? I got it for 99 cents, and it's got a little tassel here.
That's so you can remember which one's yours after 5 or 6 of those, right? Each one
Right.
has a different color tassel. You just wander around the house going, I'm the red one. Where's that?
Mhm.
And I am Mothership Products. Well, part of it. My wife Heather's upstairs watching on the other computer. And I went cheap tonight. I am drinking Busch. The old cheap beer
Awesome.
Busch. One of my favorite cheap beers. So.
Are you going to smash them on your head tonight, Duane?
No. I don't have that many. I'd need quite a few more before I could get to that point again. All right, guys. So, like I said at the beginning, we're talking about things that we pick up and name brands. We've all picked, like I said, 3 or 4 items, whatever. Why don't we go ahead and start with John? John, what do you got for these people?
So with these bolos, I was trying to find things that I'm hoping most people haven't heard of or just don't think to look at to make money on. These are all things I've sold recently, probably within the last couple months. First up is this Escort Passport Radar Detector. I see these all the time, and you can usually pick them up pretty cheap, less than $10. Some of them will sell for like $200 or $300. I mean, like big money. This one I got $75 for. I paid $5 for it, and I mean, I guess people just like good fuzz busters. So definitely, keep your eyes out for radar detectors. Specifically, the Escort Passport goes for a lot of money. Another one here is a Sony CD changer. I got this for $10. It's a 400 disc CD changer. I think a lot of people might see these and just overlook them because they probably figure nobody even messes with CDs anymore because everybody's got iPods. But this sold for $120, and it sold rather quickly too. It sold probably in like 2 days. And lastly, I got this racing wheel. So this is for like gaming. I picked it up for $25. It sold for $215.
Holy moly!
Yeah, so any kind of like video game racing wheels that you find, generally you can get pretty good money for, like $50 and up. This just happened to be a really special one that went for high money. So any kind of like racing wheels, for video games that you guys see, keep an eye out and definitely look them up.
Thrift Shop Hustler says that he sold one of those for $200 locally last year that he paid $1 for. So
wow, that's awesome.
yeah, for sure. So do you have any others there, or is that the 3 that you wanted to do?
Those are my 3, yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of other stuff, but I thought those were the 3 that were kind of stood out as something a little different that maybe not everybody knows about.
Oh, very nice, very nice. What about you, Lonnie? You're up.
Okay, so we're blasting them all out at one time, huh? Is that the format?
Well,
This
I
show will
didn't
be over in
expect
5
John to
minutes.
quick
Exactly.
so fast. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sorry.
I'm like, okay.
John, you better start searching for some more, buddy. You're not done yet.
Maybe you can, talk a little about maybe how much you purchased it for. Give a little info. Sorry, we didn't brief you, John.
We haven't talked really
Quite
about
all right.
this show much, but okay. Here's the first one, and this might be more of a life hack than a specific reselling bolo, because I don't know how many times you could do this before the company just says, "Okay, that's enough." A lot of y'all might know about JanSport backpacks and the fact that they do have a lifetime warranty. So I've done this a couple of times myself. I bought, in this particular one, I paid 25 cents for it. The tag's still on it. Bought it this past weekend. And what you want to look for when you buy them, you see down here at the bottom, I have a blowout. So now I'll just go to the JanSport website. I'll fill out a little online form, and they'll give me authorization to send it back to get it repaired. But what typically happens, or what I've had happen every time, is when you send it in, this model is probably not in stock. They get you to pick something else out. And this is a nice one because it's got like this pull-out handle here, and it's got wheels on it and stuff, so it's a bigger one. But instead of repairing it, they'll actually give the option to select a brand new backpack, and they'll mail it out to you. So that might be more of a life hack than anything else. But, I mean, these things cost anywhere from $30 to $60, depending on what kind of model you're looking at.
Which is crazy. I remember having them when I was a kid, just a plain old blue one, but they were a dime a dozen back then.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get rid of this guy.
I think, okay.
Got him. I got him. Apparently, I'm a dirty scammer.
He does have a point there. Now, is there? Let me ask while we're talking about it, not that you're a scammer, but is there a moral thing when it comes to that? Is that designed to be for the person who purchases it, or is it just?
Okay, so
does it not matter?
Okay, so we got into a moral conundrum already. We're like 10 minutes into the show, right? No, you're right though, and this is something I did know might come up. Even though maybe not quite. He didn't put it very eloquently there in the chat.
No, he didn't.
You're cutting out, Lonnie.
Oh, am I? Oh, shit. Am I good now?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, yeah, it's supposed to be, you are supposed to have bought it at a authorized retailer for JanSport. That's what it says on their website. Candace looked it up a little while ago for me. So that's what it says. Now, having said that, they don't ask for proof of purchase when you send them in. That's why I'm saying it's probably more of a life hack than like really useful as reseller, because I don't imagine you could do it more than 2 or 3 times in a year, and they would just put the kibosh on it. You know,
I mean, Craftsman, that I used to buy up all kinds of Craftsman stuff, broken with the air wrenches and all that stuff. I used to send them in and get brand new ones back. I mean,
how did that make you feel, Chad? Did you feel dirty? Did you need a shower later? Or?
No. No, it's just one of those things. I mean, that was early, like late 90s, 2000s. I mean, but yeah, that was, I mean, everybody sent their Craftsman stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did.
And the thing is with this pack, like, I didn't like tear this up myself. It was torn when I bought it, and the warranty goes with the pack. So I don't feel bad about it now. If I took this pack and I bought it and I, intentionally tore it up and then sent it in, that would be a whole different ball game then.
Yeah, sure. So you know what?
Well, if you were a really good person, when you went to that garage sale, instead of buying it for, what was it, 10 cents?
25
cents. You should have looked at that garage sale person and says, you don't want to sell this. All you have to do is contact the company and they'll send you a brand new one.
Well, I told him all about it.
More than likely they would have said.
No, I told him. I told him all about it. He said, "Oh, there's some stuff wrong on the bottom." I said, "And this is after he had my quarter and I had the backpack." So I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to send it to the company. It's got a lifetime guarantee on it." and he said, "I know it does. We just didn't feel like doing it."
Yeah. And I'm just busting on you.
What I was going to say, Chad, is like you did the Craftsman tools. I was an automotive machinist for a while, and I had a lot of tools. And I did that a couple of times, but I figured as many tools as I lost or, left somewhere or gave to somebody else and never got back, I thought I was, justified in getting a new tool that I got from somebody else, that was beat up. It's like, oh man. So.
Oh, we're getting a bunch of bad vibes in the chat. Come on, people, give us. We're all good people.
I've heard LL Bean does that too. If you take something in any of their stores, they'll return it, like no questions asked.
We're not on here teaching people how to skirt eBay and break the rules and how to get away with it, and it's just one of those things.
Hey, I'm good with it.
Well, and not only that,
I sleep like a baby.
People, the company knows, that they're just backing their product. It may be a little, I don't know what you want to call it, but that you didn't actually purchase it, but they, as a company, all they're doing is supporting their product. They don't know. I don't even think they care.
Yeah, a lifetime warranty means a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, exactly. They're just fixing their product. They're not saying that you have to give it, you have to buy it, unless it states that like JanSport does.
This is good. I like this. I like this line, this topic, because or actually the product I chose, because look, Dawn Maserati saying in the chat, it's borderline theft. Scammers, and so this is good. I like that. Stir up a little emotion.
Yeah, that's people. That's people sitting up on a high horse.
Well, no, I don't want to say that, dude. It's just opinions. It's fine.
Yeah, everybody has.
And I mean,
sure.
Yeah, there's lots of companies that do that. A lot.
Well, and
of
I mean, look at Kohl's. Look at Kohl's when they did that free, return anything, even from a competitor, and retailers are just trying to stay afloat, and they're going to do anything to get your business.
Right.
Okay, Lonnie, so you got one down. Let's see what else you can drum up with the next one.
I thought we were going to take turns. Are we going to do everything at once?
Are you sure you want me to go again?
Okay, Duane? We can take another turn. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead. Yeah, let's calm the crowd. Chad, go. Wait a minute, not Chad. Shane, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to do a screen share on this one. I picked this up at a thrift store a while ago. I can't even remember how long. It's been like first of the summer for $3. And I'm going to show you what I sold it at. I'm going to screen share here.
Shane, I've got that same Nirvana shirt, man. That's cool.
I know. I got it a few months ago, and I think on the last video I told you the same thing. So this, can everybody see my screen?
Nope.
Nope. Still no?
Nope. Just you.
Nope.
Okay, it's showing now. So this is a Franklin speaking language master.
Wait, time out. It's not showing.
Yeah, we're just seeing you, bud.
Hold on. Okay, all right. Hold on. I got it.
Ah, there
There
you
you
go.
go.
Now it looks
All
like
right.
you're going here. Let me click on him. There you go.
All right. So this is a speaking language master made by Franklin, and I sold this for $149.99. I paid $3 for it.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
It was tested and it works. The thing you got to be careful with these is they come with chips that actually, like cartridges that flip into the back, and it's actually like a special edition like dictionary. It talks back at you whatever you type in, and it's really, really cool. And I sold this within 5 hours of listing.
Wow.
And I picked up another one that was made by Franklin also, and I sold it for $39.99, and I paid $2 for it, and it was a different model.
Holy cow.
I have a good example to back Lonnie up on this.
I don't need backing up, Chad.
No,
Seriously, dude.
it's
I'm
good.
with-
It's good.
I'm good. I'm good.
If you're a reseller and you haven't ever gotten a Zippo that had a screwed up hinge on it and you didn't send it into Zip, they don't care. They will. They are supporting the product. They are backing the product, and they will fix it or replace it. Period. They don't care if it's been passed down to grandson or you bought it at a flea market. They don't care.
We all have different. We all have a different code of ethics, and we all think different things are right and wrong. I don't happen to think this particular backpack thing is a big deal, but I'll leave it open for someone else to think it is. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna drink my beer tonight, sleep like a baby, wake up, ship some stuff, sell some stuff tomorrow. I'll be good.
Has anybody used Zippo service?
You know.
What?
So
Has anybody used the Zippo service?
I didn't even
I've
know
never even
Zippo
heard
had
of
a
it.
service.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. And they get it back to you quick. And they send you the old one too back. They like if you have an issue with your thing, they always send you a new insert. And
Oh, that's awesome.
they'll like if your lid is like loose and you send it in, they'll re-weld it and put the new pin in it. It's awesome.
Look, Brian,
Wow.
Brian the Oakbrook Picker is saying there's the iPod that was recalled too. That was I remember I made pretty good money on a few of those. iPod Nano Gen 1. I think they stopped the program. It had a bad battery. But man, you could pick these things up and they didn't even work. Or they could have cracked screens or whatever. You'd send them into Apple. They would send you back a 7th gen. It's probably a refurb, but they would send you back a Nano 7th gen that would be worth about $100. It was so awesome.
Wow.
I did it 3 times, I think.
That's awesome.
Very
Still
cool.
slept like a baby.
Well, and one way you got to look at it is you're doing it because the people that had it were too lazy to do it.
Or they don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's ignorance or laziness, one of the two.
Absolutely. All right, Chad, what do you got?
Okay, with mine, I really want to kind of, a lot of people look at bolos differently, and that's cool. When I think of a bolo, I'm thinking of something that I don't come across every day, and when I do, it sparks something. And with some of the stuff that I'm going to show is, if you don't know what it is, then you're going to walk right past it. You won't have any clue what it is. How many people here knows what a phonograph horn crane is? Nobody's ever heard of a phonograph horn crane.
Is it like those big vintage vinyl things that you play records on, and the sound comes out the big horn?
The sound comes out the big horn. Well, the crane is the thing that supports the horn. Okay. I'll show you. Let me do a screen share, and I'm going to show you a couple examples.
While you're saying that, Chad, Brian the Oak Pricker says, Chad, be on the lookout for old fighter pilot estates.
Yeah. Okay, can you see this?
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Can you see this?
I see that price.
This piece, oh yeah, this sold.
Wow.
This piece of metal, okay? And it holds up a horn. Okay, here's another one.
That's crazy.
Okay, here's an example. Okay, you've got the big horn and then you got the player. Well, you see the in the middle, that thing that's holding that horn up. That's called a horn crane.
Holy
And here's
hell.
another example of a horn crane.
You know what?
Okay.
Even after you told me this, if I saw that, I still wouldn't know what the hell it is.
It typically has a little chain on the end and a hook. And okay, here's to go with this. Here's a quick story, if you don't mind. Let's see, where do I end? Stop sharing. Okay, I went to an auction, okay, and this is some of the stuff you can look at and think about with a lot of my bolos for tonight. Went to an auction and they were pulling stuff out of the barn, okay, and so they would put a bunch of stuff together, like shovels, rakes. They'd throw all that together, and then just all kinds of different stuff in like piles outside, and they were doing auctions, right? Well, a lot of this stuff, like this horn crane, a lot of this stuff ends up breaking. The actual phonograph breaks, they throw it away or whatever. The crane is metal, and they'll typically throw it in the garage, throw it in the barn, or everything's in the barn and the weather gets to the actual unit and literally disintegrates the unit. Okay. So they threw all this with a bunch of chains and all kinds of stuff, and it was sitting there. And I knew exactly what it was because I'd restored them. And so it was like, I am in the money, because it was like a $400 crane. And I mean, I'm like, I've got this. Yes. So they had it and a shovel next to each other. And so I opened a bid at $5, and somebody did $10, and I did 15, and somebody else did 20. I'm like, this shovel is not going to, nobody would pay that much. I'm like, shit, somebody else knows what that is. I ended up winning it at $150, and every me and this guy is going back and forth, and everybody around is saying, "Why are these idiots bidding $150 for a stupid shovel?" Okay, there were two of us in that whole place, and up in Indiana, there's hundreds of people at these auctions. Two of us. That's all it takes is two. Otherwise, I would have got that for like 10 or 15 bucks. But that's what it is. And always think about this. If you ever go to a yard sale or an auction or anything like that, and you see, the old cylinders, the wax cylinders for an Edison phonograph, or you see parts. Say you see a big horn, hanging on a wall in the garage or something, then you need to think, okay, if there's a horn, then there's a horn crane. So, I mean, that's what you need to think. And then you go from there. If you could pick up the horn, be looking around in the corners, because they'll stand them up in corners or put them up on shelves or something like that. But I mean, these cranes, horn cranes, can go for a lot of money because you just can't find them. So,
Chad, do they actually, are they worth more than the horns themselves, or is the horn still worth more?
It depends. It depends on the style. See, I showed you one that was for a signet horn. Those that one's for $699. It actually sold for that. Then you have some that are basics that have a foot on it that goes underneath the unit, and then it comes up, and then it kind of makes a 60-degree angle, and then you got the little chain holding the horn. Those 120, and it all depends. They could be rusty as all get out, but somebody to get one of these really good horn cranes, they'll pay to have it re-nickeled. They're not going to chrome plate it. They're going to nickel plate it. because that's the way they originally were. And if you have that, then you've just, I mean, it's like hitting a jackpot, and nobody else will know even what happened. So keep that in mind. And for everybody, if you want to learn more about it, all you have to do is just Google or go to eBay. Just type in phonograph horn crane. Okay. If there's a big horn, then there's a crane that's holding that damn thing up. So just remember that. Yeah, I used to restore the Edison phonographs, and I would redo the horns. I'd paint them and do the gold trim on. It took forever, but yeah, I love that.
So Leisure Picker had a question. He asked, "Do you have any, or do they have any identification on them?"
No. The horn cranes typically don't. The horns do, and the units do, but the actual cranes don't. It's just typical. Somebody can make $1 million making reproductions of these things, but it's just steel, and then most of the time you slide them together, and the nickel plating falls off of them. It'll flake off, and then typically there'll be a brass foot that it sits in, and then that foot goes underneath the machine, so that's what mounts it. And then if the nickel plating falls off of that, that's typically made out of brass. So, but yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, Tonya, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to screen share. Let me scooch this over. Let me close the group chat first.
Did I hand the shovel to the guy who lost?
I know.
No, you can have the shovel. That's funny.
Okay. What window? Okay. All right. So I wanted to tell you guys about Luby's cookbook. Is it screen sharing yet? Are you seeing
Getting
it?
there. There we go. Yep.
Okay. So here it is on Amazon and FBA. They go from, looks about like $32.95.
Wow.
And then merchant fulfilled from what's that? About $20. But on eBay, they sell really good too. Here are some completeds. So I sorted highest to lowest. This one right here is also one that sells really well too. I have this book right now. I need to list it, but I have sold the Luby's Cafeteria 50th Anniversary cookbook several times, and it always sells really well. There are people, who sell them for cheap, but they're just not in the know, right? So I would definitely ask, go high whenever you find these.
So is that like a chain, Luby's, or is it a restaurant system? Or, I mean, what makes Luby's cafeteria better?
It's home cooked food, like home cooking, like a cafeteria. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Like Piccadilly.
Yeah.
Y'all have Piccadilly?
I don't
We
think I've
used to
ever
have
heard
Piccadilly,
of Piccadilly.
but not
We
anymore.
used to have a Piccadilly. It was like a seafood place, right?
No.
Oh, ours was.
See,
Ours was a Piccadilly. Was almost like a Skipper's or something.
never heard of Skippers. I don't think we can find any common ground here.
Well, God, if you didn't live over there, Nowheresville, Louisiana. So cool. I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yep.
All right. So I'm also going to screen share because it makes it easier for me. Since get rid of the group chat. Y'all don't want to see that anyway.
Yeah, Kurt's got a good point in the chat there, by the way. Nobody sold anything. we're giving out bolos. We can't even sell anything.
This is true. All right, guys. So this was found at just a local Goodwill. It had a big Spyder on the back, Black Widow Spyder there, and it was reversible. It was fuzzy on that side and reversible. It was also 2002 ski team is where it is who it was made for. The U.S. ski team in 2002. The brand name is Spyder. So if you look for Spyder, they make a lot of things like kind of like North Face. You know, they make a lot of jackets. They make a lot of compression clothes to keep you warm, like base layers. And everything that I've ever had from them has sold pretty well. I had just a base layer, you know, like almost like an Under Armour t-shirt, you know, the polyester. And I think it sold for $22. And it was just, I mean, I got it for like 50 cents or something. But
That's
it did so.
amazing.
Yeah, it sold for, I think I took a best offer of 180 something for it. And I bought it for $2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Spyder.
Spyder's a good brand. It's a good, they do a lot of outdoor, you know, like I said, kind of like the North Face type jackets.
They also do stuff for the military as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty good quality too. So, there you go. That's one. Who wants to go next? Yeah, there you go. See, mine are easier. I mean, I'm a clothing guy, so I got lots of brands. I could go brands for days. But all right, John, go ahead. What's your next one? I mean, not John. Lonnie, you already did yours, John.
Wait, I got to do another one?
I've got another one. Come on.
Oh,
now.
you do? Okay. See, now that is some fast thinking right there, because he got some shit. Now he went back and was like, okay, I got to find something.
All right, guys. This is not nearly as cool as Chad's crane for the cone. I mean, that's crazy. But the reason I bring this up is because I think a lot of people might just be walking past these things. So, sealed VHS tapes.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Sell for decent money. I got these 8 for like $1 or $2 or something, and I sold them for $20. But you can get pretty good money for them. I think like $2-3 a piece, roughly. You always want to sell them in lots, obviously, but a lot of times they're in like a free box at a garage sale because they're not going to do anything with them. But there's still a demand for sealed VHS tapes.
Yeah, or they'll be in like the VHS tape box that nobody even looks in, and they're selling them for 25 cents a piece. They'll have the blanks in there with that. I've seen that a bunch of times.
Yeah,
that's a good one, though, man. It goes all media really sells pretty much.
Yeah, it really does. I think I just sold I just sold some the 3.5 floppies that were formatted for Mac, right? And I think I got $14 or $15 for it. I think I paid $0.25, you know, and it's just one of those little 10 packs. It wasn't even a big brick or anything. So
absolutely. Yep.
Very cool.
Has a picker in the chat says, why not just say anything old sealed that is blank media? Yeah, you can say that. That's a fair.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It's a fair statement.
I guess you're up, Lonnie.
Okay, so the next one hopefully will be a little less controversial.
I don't know, Lonnie. You're a pretty controversial guy, so.
Why? Why?
I don't know. Everybody loves to pick on you, though.
Okay. This is something I've been on lately a lot, and that is big box PC games. Okay. This particular one is Darklands, and you see it's got like the dude with the sword on the front. Swords are good. Dragons are good.
Scantily clad women are good.
Yeah, I mean, like any kind of like role playing game, like or adventure type title, anything like that. And the really cool thing about these big box games is they have cool artwork on them, and then inside, typically, all right, this particular game, it's got like 10 of these 3.5-inch floppies that you were just talking about, Duane. 10 of them.
Yeah, I remember playing games like that.
And they always put cool things inside, like big maps and like spell books and just like really cool stuff. Like, look, here's a map that came with this one, you know, of the world that it's in and stuff. Like nowadays, kids just go on like Steam, download a title for $60-$70, and that's it. They don't have all this cool stuff to hold and
exactly. That's what my son does. I'm like, don't you want a hard copy of it?
So,
see, and I remember being a kid playing those kind of games, and you'd have like you said, a role-playing game. And I put the map on the wall of my, my room, right by the computer, so I could look at it when I was doing it. So,
and then like,
I think we're all just old.
Like here's the manual with it and all that. So, you know, this particular game right here, and they vary in price. Like I'll sell some of them for $15, $20 or whatever. This particular one sold for I think $31.99 plus shipping on top. It's shipping out tomorrow. And I don't remember what I paid. It was no more than $1 or $2 though, because I wouldn't pay more. So be on the lookout for big box PC games, guys.
Excellent. All right, Shane, you're up.
All right, so I picked this up at a yard sale, and it's brand new, and it's a JT Racing motocross helmet.
Nice.
And I haven't listed it yet, but they sell brand new for about $180 to $190. Mine does have a small imperfection. It's a little paint chip where it looks like someone dropped it. It still has a tag on it though. So I'm probably going to list it up at like $170, $160, and I'll probably get that for it. Used, they go for about $120. Any JT Racing vintage helmets, like the vintage helmets, still sell in like the $140s, $150s range. So vintage, sometimes even more. So some of those are good to pick up if they're vintage. This one, unfortunately, is not vintage.
Gotcha. So now is it, I know like drag racing helmets and stuff, they have a code inside that basically says, what year they were made and how good they are. When you buy a vintage helmet, do you not worry about that date? I think called Snell.
I think some of like this one's like a motocross helmet, and I think some of the JT Racing, the code is actually only on the tag if it's brand new. And so like this is a tag, and it's a metal tag, like a dog tag kind of. But there's no code inside, but just the size. There might be like, there's no really code. It's just a model number. So,
okay.
But yeah, for the vintage ones, I haven't really found a lot of them. Just once in a great while, you'll come across one, and you can just tell by the way it kind of looks.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey,
all right.
Duane,
let's see.
Duane, can I take a text bolo? It's not mine.
Sure,
I just had this is hot off the press.
Okay.
This just in. This
Man, somebody needs to come on the show, huh?
Yeah, this is from Krillin. I don't know if he can't log in or not, but he just said, Lonnie, I am texting you my bolo. 1980s champion sweatshirts. Buy them for $1, sell them for $20.
Champion,
there you go.
Like the brand champion.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Quick
those
flip.
sell pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, there's quite a few things like that. Right now I'm buying a lot of Nike Dry Fit. They used to sell for a lot better, but I buy them for $1 and I'm selling them for about $20 now. So
I need to learn more about
as long as they
clothes.
don't have any, and as long as they don't have any kind of logo on them, because a lot of places will make them for their company, whatever party or whatever. If it doesn't have a logo, or if it has a very famous logo, like Augusta or something like that, then it'll be worth pretty good. So, well, very cool. Let's see. So I think it's Chad's turn.
Okay. We're going to stick in the same area here, but kind of totally different. How many people here knows what a phonograph reproducer is?
Not me.
Anyone?
Count me
Okay.
out.
Now, I know that John, with where he lives, I know he comes across these all the time. You go to a garage sale, you go to some, and you see, those old stand-up phonographs, and they're trashed. They're toasted, okay? There are some very desired pieces on those, even if they're trashed, okay? So let me do a screen share. The reproducer, okay? The reproducer is, like an old phonograph, where you got to put the head down on the record. You got to wind it up and then put the head down on the record. That head is called the reproducer, okay? And it reproduces sound, yes.
Well, in the chat, not so perfectly, me says it reproduces phonographs. Duh.
Okay. I mean, okay, guys, like this, you see these all the time. Okay, this piece right here is called the reproducer, and there's other parts. Here's the winder on the side. Okay, it just really depends. You've got your Victor phonographs, you got your Edison phonographs and stuff like that. But okay, as far as an Edison, this is a reproducer for a cylinder player. And a lot of times you might see something like this in a case or something like that at like a thrift store. They don't know what it is, but they're like, so they put it in the case. Or at an auction, you know, they might have it sitting there with the jewelry. They don't know what it is, but it's there. Okay. And this one is off of an Edison phonograph. It's the reproducer, and $255, guys.
Wow.
All you have to do, okay. You guys can Google, and here's okay, this is what they look like, guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they kind of look like this. And the lid opens up, okay? And you put your record in there. Here. The lid opens up, you put your record, there's the piece right there. Okay? And all this could be trashed. I mean, it could be the lid falling off, it's degraded. This is metal. It's brass. It's nickel plated. So most of the time, so it's not going to disintegrate. So even if they're in rough shape, people will still buy them. Okay. And here, this is an exhibition. This is on the Victor. I used to buy these for $10, and I would I had all the stuff to restore them. I'd put a new plastic piece in, and I would you would put beeswax to seal it, and there's seals in there, and I mean, I was selling it for $200. And here's a different one, and here is one that's it's the number 2. This is the cheaper version. The exhibition is the good one for the Victor Victrolas, and then the number 2 is second. But they're still worth really good money. So even if you see it sitting there, raise that lid up and look and see if it's still there. You know, and if you just come across them, they are money. And if you want to get into like a little side business, watch a YouTube video on how to restore them. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. Go on eBay and buy them for $25. Old junky ones, restore them and sell them for $125 or $200. And they have kits. I use this one guy. I just keep ordering my stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of when you see one of these old things just falling apart, think that there's stuff in that's worth good money. But yeah. And mostly you find a lot of this stuff in the Midwest. I know this. And I know that John probably sees them all the time, and they're roached.
They are roached. I've bought a few of them and sold them on my website, but I never would have guessed to part them out. And I guess my one question to you is it typically long tail with those parts just because they're specific to certain ones?
No, because there's such a demand out there for them.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah.
If you come across one,
those things
if you spend $20 on something that's roach and you got a way to get rid of it, I mean, if you really want to get into this, I mean, I did this. I restored these things and I made really good money at it. You could take the motor off. If it's a double barrel motor, I mean, it's like there's just money all over the place. But people just don't want to mess with it.
Right. I've bought like probably 5 to 6 of those in the last year, and I just never would have thought to part them out. But man, I'm gonna start doing that.
What are they saying? I didn't acknowledge the other panel member. Why? Was I rude to somebody?
I don't think so.
Sorry.
No.
You're good, dude.
I'm passionate about this stuff. I love that stuff, and it's out there, guys.
So Cosmic Thrifter has a question. If the unit is messed up, how would you know if the reproducer is any good if it can't be tested?
Well, a reproducer, it's really simple. There's a good chance that the reproducer, the seals are bad. They've gotten hard. And then, I mean, it's like $8 to get seals and stuff to redo it. And when you sell a reproducer, it's either restored or it's not. It's really that simple. And nobody's going to expect, anybody that's buying it is going to expect. How is that chat coming up like that? I've never seen that.
What?
What are you talking about?
I love that Patagonia hat. Where'd that come from?
That's our private chat, Chad.
That's our private chat. Yeah, if you don't have it opened up on the side, it'll put it right above the person that said it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You sold something. I heard it's a chain.
You're dealing with people who buy these things. You're either going to buy it used or you're going to buy it restored. Many times they will still work good on a unit without being restored. It's just not as crisp and clear because you have seals and it works off of vibration. So
yeah, I sold something for $19.99 just now. So
Sweet. What was it?
It was some cologne.
Nice.
So
Cheers.
drink it up. Another bottle.
Excellent. All right, I think we're on you, Tonya.
Okay, I have to follow Chad. Gosh.
I know, right? Sorry.
That's a hard person to follow. This was really good. Both of them.
sorry.
Okay.
Hey, they're all really good. Actually, I think every bolo I've heard has been worthy. I mean, something that I would now look for, except maybe that stupid crane thing, because I still don't. Every damn piece of steel with a chain, I'm going to think it's a crane now. So
All you got to do, dude, go look on eBay, and once you see how it works, once you see what that chain looks like with that hook, you'll know. I mean, it's after you'll know.
Yeah. No, I was just giving you crap, but I think everybody's bolo has been, have been good so far. It's things that I may or may not have known, but for sure would not pass now. All right, Tonya, you're up. Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right. So let me know when you can see.
Chains of
Can
bolo?
you see my? Wait, what?
Yeah. No, when you first comes on, it showed a picture of Shane, but now we see your James rating. So.
Okay, yes, I know I sound like a broken record, but yes, James Avery. So I bought this pair here, and they were inside of a jewelry jar that I purchased, and of course I had them listed for $209 originally, and then I received a best offer for $100, so I accepted that, and I wanted to show you guys what the James Avery hallmark looks like too. So it kind of looks like a little candelabra. It has a J on one side and A on the other, usually followed by the 925 there at the bottom. This one's also a common one too, like this. It'll just say Sterling for short. So, yep, pick up that James Avery, guys.
Now, James Avery, that's a Texas company, correct?
It is a Texas company, and it's sold in a lot of the states in the South.
Okay. Excellent.
Very cool.
Oh, shit. I guess it's on me now, huh? All right, hold on. I wasn't ready. All right, let me share. These are something that I've sold here not too long ago, and now is probably the best time for it. Hold on a second there. The Sorel. They're made in Canada. I know a lot of people call them duck boots, or I think there's another name for them. A lot of this is kind of an odd color. Usually they're dark down here with the light up here, but they're very waterproof. I picked these up for $3, I think, and I sold them for the $33.99. They were size 13. They're wool, and that's what makes them so valuable. People like them so much is because the wool will get wet, and if the wool gets wet, you can pull these. They're inserts. You pull them out, and you can let them dry. Sit by a fire or whatever. But they pull out and dry. So, and right now being fall going into to winter, a lot of people are looking for these. And I believe there's another company that makes them, but it's not quite as good as Sorel. So be on the lookout for the Sorel coffin, and it usually has the maple leaf on the side there.
But some LL Bean boots that look a lot like that.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, LL Bean. And I think they sell pretty good, but Sorel seems to sell just a little bit better. So I think we're going back to you, John.
All right, so I haven't sold this recently, but I've sold a lot of baseball bats. I made a video about baseball bats maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I think it's something that a lot of people probably just overlook, but there are some that sell for huge, huge money. So, for example, this Easton Z2K, this one sold for $1,000. Okay, it's just a baseball bat. There's nothing like super special about it, and you can find them out there. Easton is a good brand to buy for used baseball bats, and you can find a lot that stuff for $100, $200, $300. It just depends on what it is, obviously. But what you want to do is you will always find the model number on the barrel of the bat. Okay, so like for instance, the model number is right there, and it says BZ2K or whatever. So you would just search Easton BZ2K and then look up the solds to see if it's even worth messing with. And then once you start buying a few, you'll start to learn, what to look for in these bats. For instance, like some bats are one piece and they're all aluminum, and then some of them have this little plastic piece at the end. They call that a blasting cap. So if it has that blasting cap at the end, it's usually a pretty good indicator that, it's a better bat and it's probably worth your time. Definitely don't mess with T-ball bats or anything like that, but longer bats, softball bats, bigger bats, they're always worth looking up.
So on that BZ2K, is it that they just do they not sell it anymore brand new, or
they stopped making it a long time ago?
Okay,
yeah,
so that's why I was going to say, if so, what are they brand new? If it's $1,000 used?
No, it's just one of those bats that has kind of a legendary status to it. I think, you know what I mean. And a lot of guys are wanting to use it. Now, I don't think you can use these in like regular high school games, but like WABC or different non-sanctioned leagues, things like that, is where these bats are being sold. I've even heard they're selling like overseas for $2,000 to $3,000. A buddy of mine sold one, and he shipped it to like South Korea, and they're selling them over there. So I don't know.
I've heard that some of these bats, like I have very little knowledge, but they refer to them as like hot bats.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess they got a lot of pop to them or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, there's guys that even roll these bats. They have machines and they'll roll them to supposedly add more compression so that the ball jumps off of it farther. They'll shave them. They do all kinds of stuff to them. But yeah, that the hotness of bats is definitely something to where it adds to the allure.
Holy cow! Yeah, when you originally did that. By the way, that is an excellent video. I went and I found about bat since, and I think I talked to you about it, and you told me a little bit about it. But you guys should go check out that bat video, because it is really good. Yeah, it was amazing to me that a bat would be $1,000. I mean, seriously, I had no idea.
Crazy.
So, all right, Lonnie, you're up again.
Okay. You see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I guess I'm on the cheap end tonight, as makes sense because I'm selling cheap stuff for the most part. These are Bibles. These are actually Bibles I've sold recently. And all these Bibles I've either paid $1, or in some cases I'll get them for free. A lot of times and that might be kind of scammy too, but a lot of times you'll get up to the checkout thing, and I'm trying to stop screen sharing here. And they'll tell you, oh, just take it. Just keep it. And
just because they want you to read it, Lonnie.
Because they know how bad I need it in my life.
Exactly. I think they're trying to tell you something.
But I got a couple more Bibles this weekend, $1 a piece. And I thought the Bibles were going to be long tail type things like other books. but guys, they are not long tail. It hasn't been my experience that they're long tail. They sell. Duane, you're still grinning. They sell within
I
like.
was reading in the chat. Sorry. Chicago Crown Hustler says Lonnie wants drama in the chat. First, the Jansport returns, now selling Bibles.
Redemption.
Oh boy. So it's a good thing I do YouTube for fun and not as like some kind of like professional thing, right? So yeah, Bibles, guys, like you can get them really cheap and they sell really fast. And I haven't found one yet that I've held on to for more than a couple of weeks, to be honest.
So what is it that, I mean, what do you look for in a Bible? Just any Bible, or is like a King James Bible better, or a kid's Bible, or a graphic Bible? Or
I buy all the Bibles I find, and they all sell.
Oh.
So
okay.
I even sold a pocket Bible last week. This was from World War II, like a little service members Bible. So that's not like the thing is with World War II stuff, people think, oh, that's old, that's cool, but there was so much of all that stuff produced that it's not necessarily rare or anything like that. So I think I got like $16, but that was a free one. Sure. They handed it to me at the checkout. They saw it. They said, "Oh, you can have that." So, yeah, there's stuff I see in the chat. Some people are saying a leather cover. Yeah, that helps. Big print. They have red letter editions. They have like comparison Bibles where they have like one version next to another version. They may have versions that are have commentary by certain evangelists or something like that. So I mean, there's all kind of stuff out there. I would just buy them all if they're cheap enough. They'll all sell. And
I believe at one time I was watching a video of yours, and you have a well-known preacher in your area, right? I can't think of his name.
Swaggart, Jimmy Swaggart.
Jimmy Swaggart. Okay, yeah. So you find a lot that have to do with his church, correct?
Yeah,
and those do well as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those do really well. They're like okay. they're hot sellers, and I know there's like other areas of the country. There's guys like that too.
Sure. Oh yeah. No, I remember seeing your video about him. So
yeah,
saying that those were good. Very cool. Let's see. I think we will go to Shane next, right?
All right. So I'm going to go back a little bit of what's in my wheelhouse, and I'm going to talk about clothing, and I'm going to talk about vintage concert T-shirts. So if you aren't picking these up, or if you're afraid to sell clothing, vintage concert T-shirts are, you can make some really, really good money off vintage concert T-shirts. And I'm just going to do a quick screen share, and I'm just going to kind of show you a couple of some of the ones I've sold just a little while ago. So this right here is a 1999 Ramones T-shirt, and it looks exactly
the Ramones.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same as every Ramones T-shirt that was even made in 2017. $39.99 on this, just because it was made in 1999 and it was vintage. Then I got a Steve Earle T-shirt, and $26.44. I mean, I probably could have priced it higher. Sold literally, I think, the next day. And my thing on this is these are like probably the cheapest two I've sold recently. I might have sold a couple for $10 or so, but I've sold ones for $100. I've sold some for over $100. I mean, I have a couple that I'm going to be listing this week that's going to go probably in the $150 range. So really, it's what like vintage clothing in generally can go very high. Like this hat is a vintage Green Bay Packers Ebbets Field hat. It's all wool. Wow. And this goes from $50 to $80, just like that. And
I bet you there's some Green Bay Packer fans that pay a lot more than that for it.
Right, exactly. And 50 was on the low, Chad.
Yeah.
On the high end, it's over 80. So it's a pretty sweet hat. And the thing is vintage clothing is, I mean, it's kind of like my lifeline.
And put that thing up for $125, man.
Oh yeah, it probably would. I mean, if I priced it up there, it probably would go for that.
Yeah, there's some die-hard, man, especially the Packers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a football town for sure.
So I know I asked you on you did a show and a video on this, and I asked you then, but I wanted to ask again so everybody else gets that knowledge. What genres of music do best in vintage T-shirts?
Honestly, if you focus in on the rock, rock and rap do really good. But I'll be honest with you, country, I pick up a lot of vintage country, and I know it doesn't do that good. I mean, you're looking at a vintage country t-shirt from like the 80s or 90s, you're looking at like 20 to 25. You pick up like a vintage Metallica, which I have one in my closet right now. It's a vintage Metallica Ride the Lightning. It's trash. It holes everywhere. I mean, on auction, they'll probably go for like 80 and up.
Different type of person to buy it. Hell yeah.
A long time ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I had I got a storage unit, and it had a vintage signed Metallica shirt, and Justice for All.
Wow.
And I sold it to a guy in Sweden for like $87 was what it ended up going for. And, you know, at the time I didn't know a whole lot about what was going on, you know, what I could get. But I figured, hell, I bought the whole unit for $150 and I got one t-shirt sold for 87. So
why not? And
cool,
I'll be honest, like some of my bigger sellers lately have been vintage Christian rock t-shirts. I mean, if you can pick up some of those, it's like $20-25 a pop every time.
I can't even think. I don't even know any Christian rock groups. Oh, Striper, way back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, I remember Striper.
With the Y, right? Spelled with a Y.
That's the only one I ever remember.
And they had bumblebee colors, right? Yellow and black.
Yeah, they were bright yellow and black.
I just picked up one the other day, and it was a band, a Christian rock band for him, and it was like an Onita, probably around mid 80s vintage.
Nice, very nice. All right, Chad.
Well, I was going to talk about.
What about me?
You're after Chad.
But Chad already went twice, didn't he? Did I go twice? Have I gone twice?
You went.
I'm just going to go back over here in my little corner and be quiet.
Go ahead, Tonya.
You need to have some more of that wine. you did
I
James
do have
Avery in the
another one here. I think I'll open it.
Yeah, you did the cookbook in James Avery.
All right, gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Sorry, Chad. Please forgive
Don't
me.
worry.
Well,
if you want to go, Tonya, I'm sure
I don't
Chad
like
will
having to
swap
follow
with
you.
I was going to talk about buying used urns, or be on the lookout, but I'm not going to talk about that because we don't want to go down this road.
Well, we're already there, Chad. We're already there. We're already there.
Talk about it.
It's not your channel. Don't worry.
Talk about the reseller mindset. I mean, I was at an estate. I got in before the actual estate, and I was going through the cabinets, and there was an urn up in the cabinet, and I'm like, I wonder whose ashes these are. And I'm thinking, I wonder if the urn's worth anything. You know, but yeah, I'm like, oh, there's an urn up here. Yeah. But
usually,
but no, I don't recommend anybody trying to sell a used urn. I don't. It might be against the law to just take somebody's ashes, and I don't know.
So did you do it, Chad? Why did you bring this up? Did you do this?
No,
you did do
never.
it. You did.
No.
I think he would admit to it. Chad would
come
admit
across
to it
a few urns in our time, and you just like if it's a storage unit, we just give it to the unit manager. Or at this estate, this was just last week. It's like, hey guys, there's an urn up here. You might want to get that out of here.
Wow.
But now my bolo is people walk past stuff like this because I can go to a garage sale at 1 in the afternoon and they're sitting there. Okay. Is vintage. Like if somebody looked at this, okay, it's not gold, but if somebody looked at this watch at a thrift shop, I mean at a garage sale or something, like, oh, it's a cheap watches, you know, it's just like one from the 80s or 90s or not some. But like this one, it's a Milo, and if you push the buttons, it's got the red LCD thing, you know, the red lights. Yeah.
Chad's got Jory, y'all.
Yeah.
No,
right?
Vintage Seiko watches. Okay, digital Seiko.
You're the big Seiko fan, right?
I love Seiko watches.
Dang, I'm pretty sure I've just given those away before.
Vintage Seiko watch. I mean, this one here still has the tag. This one here is probably, man, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. $300.
Wow.
Holy cow.
But this Milo, I've been working on it. It's not coming on because there's a piece of where the battery goes in. The nickel plating on it has rubbed off, and I'm trying to jump to where it can make that connection. But I don't know if somebody, I'll look it up while we're doing it, and I'll show it next time if anybody else is. But I mean, stuff that looks stupid cheap, check it. Just check it out. And yeah, they're nice watches. But I mean, this one had, you see him sitting there with the bands broke or something like that. You see him sitting there. This watch is over $100. Easy.
Is that the one that talks to you?
I don't have my damn glasses.
Well, here, let me hold it for you. I'll hold it back.
Got some kind of little hole in it for something.
Yeah, if I remember right, there's some that talk back or something like that. And
no, this one isn't. This one isn't. This is the
Why does it have a hole?
It's the alarm chronograph.
oh, okay.
Chad, do you ever sell calculator watches?
Oh yeah, yeah. Now see, you have some of the cheap. There were some that came out later on that were the cheap, like plastic. But if you can get the metal ones, those can do really well.
Were those Casio? Those are Casio, right? Those are Casio, right?
May have been Casio, but I also believe Seiko.
They have one too?
Was the first one to do it.
Okay.
I believe. But yeah. Did anybody have to look up the Milo?
Not me.
But yes, just look at them, guys, because a lot of people would look at something like this and like, it's just some cheap, just a cheap watches.
Oh, I see
You
the
make
metal.
a good point, Chad.
I see the metal Seikos now, Chad. I didn't even know they made one. The calculator watches. Those are cool.
Probably expensive too, isn't it?
They're about $100, looks like. Sorry, John.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going
I
to say,
said Milo.
Chad makes a good
Sorry, it's
point.
Mido, M-I-D-O.
Mido.
Duh.
Chad makes a good point to just look it up. I feel like one of the best things a reseller can have is a good sense of curiosity. If you haven't seen it before, look it up. Don't just assume. And the more you do that, the more you just look on your app. I mean, it takes 10 seconds to look something up on your eBay app. The more you'll learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And so, like, just go into every sale or auction or thrift store or whatever with a good sense of curiosity. And I feel like it'll make you a lot of money.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, because that's how we've all learned. We've all probably passed by a lot of this stuff, but somebody stops and looks at it and goes, "Oh my God, people actually want this," and then they add that to their arsenal. And I think every one of us here has probably done the exact same thing. It's like you'll find something you think it's nothing, but then when you actually look it up, it's like, holy cow, what? I've been missing this my whole life.
You know where I usually see it? I see it on a video or I see it in a Facebook group, and that's when I find out. Unfortunately.
Nice.
Here's one that's close to this.
Wow.
$150.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're out there, and this was sitting at a garage sale for $25.
Chad, does the one in the listing work? Because they don't show any digits on it.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking, but I was muted.
There's a good chance it didn't, because they're actually more expensive. Sold as not working, and that's
wow.
Yeah. You get one working, and you're $400 probably.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's crazy money.
But yeah, but see what I mean? See how basic it looks, how cheap it looks. I mean, it just looks cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way a lot of stuff looked in the 70s, 60s.
Sure. It would be Tonya's turn, but she's not here, so she can follow me this time. All right, I'm going to go back to clothing because that's what I know. Oh, this is a brand that I've sold recently. In fact, this is the one I sold, and that is what it sold for. CC Filson. So now CC Filson is a company out of Seattle. They just recently, in the last couple of years, have farmed out their making their stuff in other places. But as you can see, this is still, I mean, seriously, it looks just like a plain old lumberjack, shirt, right? It's got good quality. You can feel it. It's pretty heavy. But this is a $50 shirt, and this is not new. This is a used shirt, and it's a size medium, so it's not oversized. But yeah, just look for that CC Filson. And actually, it says it on the button. See how that button says Filson on the side? Some of them do that as well. I found out about this a long time ago, and I hadn't found any for a long time. And then I came across 2 of them in the last 2 weeks or something, and that one sold within, I think it was 3 days. 3 days, and I sold it for the $49.99 plus $7.20 to ship it. So because it's kind of heavy, it was in a padded flat rate. So, but yeah, CC Filson is an excellent brand. And if you want a really good work shirt, a warm work shirt for yourself, it's also a very nice brand. My son, he likes Pendleton, and he also, I believe, he has a CC Filson. He works a lot outside, so. All right, your turn, Tonya.
I found a CC Filson handbag one time that I did really good on.
Oh yeah, they make other things too, but yeah, the CC Filson brand name is really good.
Okay, I'm gonna bring mine up. So Karen's at the beach reminded me about those flip-flops I sold, so I wanted to screen share and show you guys what they look like. I'm pretty sure I picked these up for 99 cents. So let me show you what they look like. So here was my sale, you guys. I did an auction. I got 19 bids on it. Sold for $111, you guys.
That stuff blows my mind.
That's crazy.
So Bolo for these for sure. Look for these vintage type flip-flops. And as a matter of fact, it didn't even have a brand on it.
You sold an unbrand? Okay, I've heard this story about the flip-flops.
Still don't believe it, huh?
But I thought there was like a brand to it that made it worth the money. You're telling me you sold a ratty, unbranded pair of flip-flops for $111.
Unbranded.
I did. Isn't that nuts?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah, we're all not worthy. I mean, she can turn, she's got the Midas touch or something.
There wasn't any kind of under the table modeling or anything like that.
Ah, too
I think John knows a lot about well-worn shoes.
I do know a lot about that since the well-worn video is on my channel. Mighty Mushrooms even says used panties were so hot on early eBay.
Oh my goodness. Debbie Keith is asking what I started them at, and I started them at $9.99, I believe.
Wow,
that's incredible.
That's awesome.
I'm just stunned. All right, John, back at you.
All right, since I am the sporting goods guy, I'm just going to keep throwing good sporting goods stuff at you guys. Okay, so you probably see golf clubs all the time. Unfortunately, about 99% of the golf clubs you see are just junk and not worth your time. But Scotty Cameron putters are a really good bolo. So this one sold for $300. A lot of Scotty Cameron putters will sell between like $150, $300. And what's crazy is even the head covers of the putters will sell. My battery's dying. So this head cover sold for like $180.
No, wait, that's the thing that just covers the head, right? Like a
Correct.
piece of cloth?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That is so
Damn.
So some of the Scotty Cameron head covers will sell for just crazy money.
Now, did your dad find a Scotty Cameron putter? Correct?
He did. You're not going to believe this bull crap. Okay. He went to one garage sale, filled his car full of stuff, and he brings it back to the warehouse. He doesn't know very much about sporting goods. He just pulls out this bag of golf clubs, and he's like, this lady was giving stuff away. I got this whole bag for $1. And I'm looking through the bag, and there was a Scotty Cameron putter in the bag that I went to sell for him on eBay for $145. and then all the other clubs too that I took to the sporting goods store. But yeah, he found one and had no idea what it was. It was just blows my mind. I found maybe like 2 in the last 15 years.
Just dumb luck, huh? That's amazing.
Wow.
All right, Lonnie, you're up. If you got
Wow.
more.
We're just going to do a marathon here, right? Is this like we keep going until we run out and then we kind of drop off? So,
Yeah.
all right. So I'll steal some sporting goods. I'll steal some sporting goods from John because I've had some success with gloves. I picked up these 2 gloves for $3 for both. And let me screen share with y'all real quick. Here's some recent sales I have. Holler if you see it.
You're good.
Okay, so yeah, here's some gloves I sold lately, and all these gloves I picked up for typically $1 or $2. And I think 2 of them I picked up for $5 for both. But you could see 25, 20, 19, 19, 19.99. So I mean, gloves are just really. And John, I'll throw this back to John if he has any like tips, because John filled me in on what I should be looking for. So why don't you take it over for a sec?
Honestly, I think anything 11 inches and above. Okay, so like they have measurements on these gloves, and they're usually around like the pinky finger of the glove. And if it's like 9 inches, 10 inches, they're for toddlers. They're for little kids. So people are just going to go to the store and buy one. They're not really looking on eBay for them. But once you get to 11 inches, you're talking about bigger kids. I mean, there's some pros that use 11-inch gloves, like shortstops. So I'd say just stick with 11 inches and above. And like Lonnie said, if you can get them for $1 or $2, and you can tell they're in pretty good condition, just take a chance on them. The model numbers will always be right on the fingers. You can look them up, see if they're selling. And now's not a good time to probably sell them, but maybe in 3 to 4 months, right before spring and baseball season kicks off, is a great time to sell them.
I'm not paying $20 a glove, so it's not like I got capital tied up. I do want to say that Kurt is asking a question. You're charging shipping on those gloves. They're generally kind of heavy. And when I was first talking to John, Cincinnati Picker there, he said, do not ship them in padded flat rates. And John, I gotta become clean. I've been shipping them in padded flat rates.
Yeah. I mean, you're fine. I think those cheaper gloves you're probably okay on. If you're shipping a higher end glove, if a box smashes it, it might mess with the brake. So sometimes the brake kind of means a little bit, you know, if it has a good brake to it, or if it's kind of cattywampus or kind of jacked up. So if a box crushes it and messes up the brake, somebody might be upset, but you're probably okay to ship them in padded flat rates.
So where will you find the model number? Like, I don't know anything about gloves. Where will that be?
On the finger.
Look, here's one right here. Look, you see right here on the little finger? This is a Rawlings glove, and it's this is an 11-inch. So, and then
so it'll be right there, front and center, pretty easy to find.
See it.
So are there brands to look for or to look out for?
I see a lot of Rawlings that I've sold. Louisville Slugger, I've sold a few of those. Mizuno is another brand I've sold. John, you have anything else on that?
There's a lot of good brands. SKB, Wilson. The really high-end ones to look for would be like a Wilson A2000 or a Rawlings Gold glove. Those are going to be like your $100 and more gloves, but catcher's mitts are sought after. I wouldn't look for specific brands. Just look up each model number, and you should be okay. Now, if you see that the lace is like broken and the fingers are torn apart, if it's a high-end glove, still buy it, because it's not too difficult to relace a glove or find somebody to relace a glove. I found an A2000 for $1 because it was broke. The lace was all broke, and they're like, "Oh, this is a bad glove." I spent $2 on lace, relaced it, and sold it for $100.
So, what would be? This is from Steven Stuff Resale Killers. What would be the holy grail of gloves?
Probably Wilson A2000. I mean, that's what the pros use. That's a $250 glove.
Okay.
Wow.
Ronnie's killing me in the chat here. No glove, no love.
I know, like,
Only Ronnie say something like that, right?
I know, like last year, I picked up I think an Easton K Pro something, K1000 Pro, and sold it for like 50, I think.
Yeah, that's a good glove.
Okay, Jeff Carter says, does it matter if it has a former owner's name on him in marker?
It hurts a little. It just depends on what it is.
Oh, okay, you answered that in the chat.
I mean, think about it. Like, if you were buying a glove for your kid, would you want to buy a glove like a good used condition glove, give it to your kid to play, and it had somebody else's name on it?
Dude, if it's a $300
Probably
glove,
not.
I'm not going to care what it says.
Having said that, dude, I sold one last week that had it on Sharpie. You know, some kid's Sharpie, but yeah, it's got to hurt it.
I got a question. I got a question for you, John or Lonnie. Do you guys rub like mink oil and stuff on those before you sell them?
I don't have any.
With the cheaper gloves, it's not worth your time because most gloves aren't pure leather. But when you get into the higher end gloves like the A2000s and things like that, they're pure 100% leather. So if you can feel it's kind of cracked and things like that, it might help it to do it. But at the same time, I guess it depends on the condition. If it's in great condition, don't touch it. If it's in bad condition and it kind of needs to be brought back to life, I might even leave it alone then too, because whoever gets it is going to have their own way that they want to break it in. They're going to put a ball in there. They're going to put some rubber bands and some Saran wrap, and then they're going to put all kinds of their own special oil on there. They make regular oil. They make like lotiony oil. They make cream oils. There's all these different things.
That sounds like a party, man.
I know. It's crazy. So I mean, it's
massage.
Everybody has their own way to do these things. So I would almost leave it alone and just take a lot of pictures. Say this is the condition. Maybe it needs a little TLC. You know, the buyer can do with it as they choose.
And make sure you feel the finger holes, because a lot of times, because there's actually two layers, and a lot of times the inner layer will split and it'll harden. So when you put your finger in it, you're like, even though the mitt looks nice, you need to check your finger holes.
Absolutely.
And it sticks some lubricant in there and get that stuff softened up again, and you know.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
Nurse it.
You're killing me.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, how do you do that again, Chad? Stick your finger in there again? Let's see that.
Hey, I've done it.
Oh, man.
Oh, we've all done it, Chad. Just not on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Chad's
Okay.
right,
Hey. Oh, go ahead.
He's
Go ahead,
right. I
John.
mean, put your hand in the glove. Put
Your
it
whole
on.
hand? Oh my God.
Yes, your whole hand. That's something.
That
people
sounds like a
don't wanna know.
conversation I shouldn't be a part of.
Oh gosh.
Just being honest, folks.
All right, Shane, save us.
All right. Well, I'll try to pull it back here a little bit. So I'm going to go back to a little bit more of clothing, and I'm going to kind of throw out one brand is Robert Graham. Robert Graham sells super good, and a lot of people pass it by because on the tag, it only has an R and a G. That's it. And a lot of people just think it's a lower end brand name. Sells super good, and I'll do a really quick screen share just to kind of show you. I haven't sold any recently. I picked up a few like last week, but some of the solds. This is a Robert Graham men's limited edition, 155, 31, 27. I mean, you're looking at probably like an average selling rate of anywhere from 29 to 30 bucks, I would say, on your newer Robert Grahams. On your like the limited edition ones are obviously 150 and over. So that's a super good brand to look out for.
Yeah, I just sold one. I paid about $6 for it at Goodwill, and I got a best offer for $35. So I took it. It's a quick flip.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, on Robert Graham's things to look for also are the brighter the better. You know, anything that's crazy, like you saw in some of his things there, the crazy bright ones are they always sell higher. The flip cuffs, they either call them flip cuffs or contrast cuffs. All you do is you turn the cuff inside out, and if it's usually a different color scheme than the rest of the shirt. They usually do the same thing on the collar too, but the cuff is the one that people most look for because it makes their hands stand out. And Robert Graham actually does have two brands, two labels, like you saw in his thing. Some of them just are embroidered Robert Graham, and others have that RNG, and they have a can't remember if it's a horse in a shield or something in between. And that's not the lower brand, but that's the less popular brand. It still sells really well. You still probably get between $20 and $35 for those. But the embroidered ones, those are the big ones. Those and the contrast cuffs. The brighter the better, and the bigger the better.
Yeah, I just picked up one, I think like 3-4 days ago at Goodwill for $4, and it was just a RG, and it was the contrast cuff, and it was like I think like a red plaid, but when you flipped it over, it was like a white and blue checkered.
Yeah. They usually the contrast is so it just like it sounds. It contrasts so well. They're usually quite different, so they don't blend in really well. You'll have like a white shirt and a bright blue cuff, or you'll have a blue shirt and a bright red cuff, or something like that. It's kind of strange. So yeah, that's an excellent brand. They actually have slowed down a little bit when they. Back probably 2 or 3 years ago, you could get about $50 to $60 out of every Robert Graham. But I think people started realizing that, and so now it's in the $25 to $35 range typically.
Market's a little bit flooded on those too. Like people are listing a lot of them now.
Well, yeah, I mean, geez.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go see what a brand new one costs, I don't understand how people can spend, $300, $375 on a shirt. Yeah. It boggles my mind. So let's see. Chad, I think it's your turn after Shane.
Yep. Okay. The reason why I'm going to say this one is because I've actually dealt with these particular things I'm getting ready to show you, and how just because you see something might be broken, okay, doesn't mean it's not worth anything. And what I'm talking about is vintage, the old, like the wind-up tin toys, okay? Let me go ahead and screen share, and I'll explain. Not that most people might be able to say, oh, this might be worth something, okay? But here's one that I've actually bought. This one and the next one I'm going to show before. And what you do is you wind these up, and they'll do he drums. This person up here, her arm goes up and down like she's leading the choir. He jumps up and he jumps up and down like a dummy, and she goes back and forth as she's playing the piano. Now, what's really cool about this is a lot of people might see these because it's based on condition, okay? And so you might come across one. But if you come across one that's totally trashed, it's still worth checking into, okay? And I cannot express, like this one right here, okay? This one, I've actually bought this one, and this is exactly the way I got mine as well. Does anybody know what the issue with this one is? His ears are missing.
Huh.
Okay. His ears are missing. There's just little holes. And believe it or not, they make reproduction ears. It's just like a little leather vinyl, black little ears. And look at the price here, $400. And here, Goofy's ears are missing. This is the exact same condition mine was when I got it at the auction. And I'm thinking, okay, is it worth it? Now, this is what I'm talking about. Oops. This is an arm for one of the little Abner, okay? $25 just for an arm on this first one. It would be his arm. Okay, $25 for that. And look at this, $50 just for her. I mean, and she's roached. She's toast. Okay.
Hey, Chad, can we address this question in the chat real quick? It's a good one.
What?
reproductions have been brought up within the chat. How can you, I guess, detect genuines versus fakes?
Okay, like for instance, here's something good here. It's lithographed, okay? Nowadays, you're not going to get something that's like lithographed. And when you look at I'm sitting here pointing at my screen with my finger. When you get, if you look at this, okay, they do make reproductions like on this. Well, it's hard for me to show it. You see down there around her waist, the way you have that, what that is it's actually, it holds the piece that makes her arms go up and down, the bracket right there, that bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very rare you're going to find something like this in mint condition, okay? Let's see. And here's some more of them. And what you can do, I mean, if it's something from 1930 or 1940, this is typical, okay? When you're looking at these, you see the paint, and I mean, you're not going to have something perfect. And they lithograph this. It's tin, and you can look at it real close with a loupe or something like that. I haven't seen too much of they try to make different things look old, like a wind up kid on a bicycle or something.
Chad, what is a lithograph for those that may not know, including me? What the hell is a lithograph? Because I don't even know.
Oh, it's the way that it's printed. Yeah, it's the way that it's printed on the metal.
So how can you tell if it's lithograph or paint? I mean,
right? Yeah.
What is it that tells you the difference?
If you look really, really close, like with a loupe, you're going to be able to see like little dots. Okay, you'll see itty bitty little dots. And nowadays, if they make reproductions and stuff, typically what they'll do is they'll just use like a way to paint it or something. Just like, or if you're dealing with like cast iron stuff, you know, the old cast iron banks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but the people who make the reproductions use Phillip head screws in them. It's like, that's the biggest giveaway ever.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But people just don't know that. So if you see an old tin toy, I mean, an old cast iron bank or something like that, look at it, look at the bottom, and you see a Phillips, just put it down.
So, Chad, a lithograph print will have like the little fine dots like a newspaper print would?
Well, I mean, really, newspaper print? Yeah, kind of.
It's like on art, right? If you're looking at a print and you look on the edge of art, you'll see the dots as opposed to an actual painting or something like that. In this case, you want the lithograph, right? You don't. Yeah,
this stuff is lithograph. Yeah. Yes.
You want that. In art, it's the opposite. You know, if you're looking at art and you look on the side and it's all, dots,
well,
then that's just a print.
Lithograph has little dots.
That's what I'm saying. But in art, you don't want the lithograph. Typically, you want the original. So if you find a lithograph, it's a repo.
Right. Correct. But you also have to think about, okay, there's for posters, it's kind of pretty much, if you look up real close, it's the same idea, but whenever you're oh, my brain's getting a little clogged here. I'm trying to read at the same time. Hold on.
And you're the only one not drinking, Chad. What the hell? That Monster not good for you?
What was I thinking? Oh, back in the 30s and 40s, they didn't make this. It was cheaply made, believe it or not. The tin lithos and stuff like that. It was cheaply made. That's why they're worth so much that they survive. Okay, and they're considered toys. But yeah, they didn't. They printed the cheapest way possible.
So it's based more on the rarity than the quality. It's the fact they're still there.
On it, and it depends per item. That's why you can have like just pieces of this little Abner, and they're still selling for $100, $125 just for loose pieces. Oh,
I just sold something.
1940 or 1967, Revell Bell Huey Cobra helicopter model kit for
Oh, dude.
$44.49.
Nice.
You know what?
Nice job.
That's what I
job.
forgot.
Cheers.
I was gonna bring a model. I was gonna bring a model with me, and I forgot. Oh man, models sell so
Cheers,
good, don't
guys.
they? I'm empty. I need to get another beer. Duane,
Excellent.
Duane, it's 8:36.
Yes, sir. So are you trying to say you're tired of talking?
No, I'm just saying it's 8:36. It's your show. Your goat.
Okay. And my goat? Okay. Well, I guess it's up to you guys. I mean, are you guys want to continue? Are you good? Should we dip it in the bud? What?
Somebody saying old posters are lithograph posters. The old expensive ones, I believe, it's considered fine art. So, yes, old posters are lithographs.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. So hopefully people in the chat today, we covered quite a few things. Each of us had three or four good bolos to look out for. Some were, kind of bread and butter items that you can look at, and most people may find that you've just been passing up. And others are, much more difficult to find, or, you may not even know what you're looking at. But hopefully we dropped some knowledge on you guys tonight. We had a good time. We only had to drink twice for sales. I think that's a record. It seems like we always end up drinking more than that. So.
Right. So let's talk about whose show the channel, or what am I trying to say? Whose channel the show is going to be on next week?
Well, that is a very good question. Lonnie, you kind of were the schedule keeper. Do you know where it's going from here?
I don't know.
I think it goes to
Sounds
Lonnie's
like
channel. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it goes to Lonnie's.
Am I up? All right.
I think you are. So,
Great. Can I pass?
not to drop that on you. I was just no, sorry.
Now, okay, this is the thing, guys. You guys have to let us know, okay? If you guys are in the chat, or even anybody on the panel, if you guys come across something that you didn't know before this show, let us know. And I know, like with those bats, would you call it the blasting cap is on the end of it? That's helping me remember that. I mean,
Absolutely.
I didn't know that, so I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm not gonna go looking at every single bat, but it's one of those things that that should catch your eye, right? To say that you need to look at this. So.
It's legit. I've sold a bat for $400 myself. So
wow,
nice.
It's legit. It is definitely.
Yeah, I think the one I picked up, me and John talked about it. It was worth probably about $35. And like I said, I spent 50 cents on it, I think. So
yeah, I mean that's 70 to 1, dude.
And if
I'm not complaining at all.
If you make a bad buy, just stick that bat next to your back door. Somebody wants to come into your house and you don't want to shoot them, just knock them upside the head with the bat.
And they'll say, "Oh, that wasn't very hot upside my head."
You could have done better with a BZD2.
Stick it in the back seat of your car so that next person that pisses you off, that pulls out in front of you, come up to the stoplight, get out, and smash his windshield.
Wow. Boy, this is going haywire all of a sudden.
All right, wrap it up, Duane.
Yeah, help.
Abort.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, it sounds like it'll be on Lonnie's channel next week. Does anybody have going on this week for shows that we need to plug?
Reseller Pulse Friday.
Go ahead. Reseller Pulse is Friday. Excellent. Tonya and Steve and Steph will be on my auction show next week, right?
This week, right?
Well, yeah. Okay, next Saturday, I meant. Sorry. Next Saturday, the 7th, October 7th, next week. So that'll be a Halloween special, so that'll be kind of fun to do. Everybody's expecting.
Are you going to dress up?
Yeah, I'm not sure how yet.
Whose channel is this on?
It's on mine. It's the auction show.
Oh, okay.
My auction show. So luckily, I don't get seen very much on my show, so I only have to wear the mask for a minute, and then I can pull it off. But all the other people have to wear masks, or decorations of some sort. Yes. Also, again, I said it in my show, but for those of you that knew Dana Bostic, OG picker, he passed away on the 17th. He had cancer. He knew he had cancer. He knew he was terminal. He, moved his wife up to a better place, and so it wasn't a big surprise. But it's still, somebody that we lost in our society here. He was a great guy, fun to talk to, and that guy could talk. And I'll tell you what, I swear to God, he did every job ever known to man. If you talk to him, oh yeah, I did that once, or I was an electrician for once, or a plumber. He had a lot to share. So,
and he could talk.
He could talk
and talk
for a long time. But no, he was a great guy. So he'll be missed. Again, we'll be on Lonnie's show next week, and I think that's it, guys. Have a great night. See ya.
Night, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.